The right?
Top left.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Good evening, everyone. All right, it is November 30th. It's been a rainy day, and I'm calling to order the Audit and Finance Committee meeting for November 30th. And I'm going to start by taking attendance here. I'll take attendance of all of our members of the Audit and Finance Committee meeting, and starting with Mr. Clay.
He was there, but he disappeared.
Okay, I'll come back to him. Mr. O'Brien,
Here.
Mr. Grimm,
Here.
Mr. Bergdorf,
Here.
Miss LeCap.
Here.
Hello, someone needs to mute themselves.
I'm here.
Can you figure out who that is? Okay, Ray Joyce,
Here.
Mr. Mayo,
Here.
and Mr. Peter.
Present, Madam Chairwoman.
Okay, and my name is Wanda Willingham. So all of our Audit and Finance Committee people are present. And just for the record, I would like to ask, trying to get all my participants in here. Okay, I see that Mr. Epicoro is here, Mr. Camiso is here, Bill Ricard. If I don't call your name after I do this, please say who you are. Bill Ricard.
You did it perfectly. Thank you.
Mr. Beston.
Here.
Chairman Joyce.
Here.
Okay, Mr. Moriello, our minority leader.
Here.
Mr. Langdon.
I'm here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Cleary.
Here.
Let's see, Allison McLean Lane.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Okay, Allison McLean Lane. Mr. Ward.
Present.
Okay, Mr. Riley. I'm sorry, I didn't call you yet. I think that Mr. Reedy.
Here.
Okay, all right, I think that is all of the members of the legislature. If I did not call someone's name and you are present for this meeting, you can say your name now.
Chris Smith.
Pardon me?
It was
Chris
Chris.
Smith.
I heard Chris Smith.
Oh, okay, Mr. Smith, okay, all right.
Bill Clay.
Oh, so you're back, Bill. Okay, and Bill Clay. All right, thank you very much. All right, now we are ready to move on with the matters at hand, and we have 4 items in front of us this evening. And I am trying to get back to, here we are. So we have 4 items in front of us this evening, all right? And we're starting with number 1. Number 1 is amending the resolution number 425 for 2020 regarding the 2020 Sheriff's Office budget. And that is going to be withdrawn. Is that correct, Ms. Kennedy?
Yes, Madam Chairwoman.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on to number 2. Authorizing and directing the Board of Elections to certify its expenses regarding the 2019 election cycle. And I do see that Ms. Blady, Rachel?
Yes,
Okay, you are present. Okay, so would you like to
and
speak?
I
on
am
this?
also here with Commissioner Klein. We're sitting here together.
Okay, I saw your name. I did not see it, so I would like to recognize Mr. Klein too. All right, so which one of you will be speaking on the 2019 budget?
The 2019 budget.
No,
Yes.
so this is so this is a chargeback, basically directing municipalities to pay back certain expenses that we always charge back to them annually. And this is in regard to the 2019 election cycle. And the
Right.
2020
I'm sorry.
election cycle will be forthcoming as well in the next couple of months. We always have to wait until all the vendors submit their claims, so forth and so on, and then we're able to finalize it and assess what we can charge back. So before you is the chargebacks to the municipalities, which I believe are already submitted to municipalities.
Okay, so let me correct myself. This was authorizing and directing the Board of Elections to certify its
Yes,
expenses regarding the 2019 election cycle. And so we have in front of us a budget that says how much was spent? $582,000 or something like that? Is that what it
yes.
is?
My eyesight's not that great. I'm gonna have Matt pull it up to look at it.
It
Yeah,
says
that was for,
508.
There it is.
One, please, please, one
Yes.
person.
$580,920.19.
Okay, so now, and it's broken out by the different, it's broken out by the different municipalities.
Correct.
Correct.
That is correct. All right, do you have any comments on this at all?
The only comment that I would say is that all of these expenditures are applied ratably. So each municipality is only paying for the charges that are attributable to that municipality. It's not a equal distribution. It's a pro rata distribution, and it's based upon the expenses that can be identified and related to that specific municipality.
So when you say this is, I'd like to ask a question, and I would also like the members open the floor up to them too. When you say this is being charged back to the municipalities, okay? So you're sending this out to them? It has been sent back, or?
No, these are, we itemize the expenditures that are attributable to each municipality, and then that gets forwarded to the county legislature in the form of a certification, which we did submit back in July. And then it's up to the county legislature, should they so elect to do so, to invoice the various municipalities for the costs and expenditures that were associated with that municipality. And these expenditures are only the expenditures that were traditionally payable by the municipalities. And it does not include overhead for the board. It's just the costs that have been traditionally associated with the cities and towns. We have no statutory authority to bill them for anything other than that.
I see. All right, does anyone have any other questions about this?
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Mr. Grimm?
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I understand that it used to be not this way, because I remember when I was on the Government Town Board, we weren't charged based on what the actual cost was. That was changed several years back, I believe. One of the questions I have is, for example, the 2019 population estimates, Colony versus Albany. Albany has 17% more population, but their election spending is 53% more than Colony's. Why would
There's an answer to that, Mark.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Madam Chair.
Before you speak, I recognize Mr. Grimm, and since we are YouTubed, people need to know who is talking, okay? So I would like to recognize who you are, okay? So remember, we still have some etiquette. You put your hand up, raise your hand, whatever it is, just so that, everyone knows who's speaking, okay? All right. And so who was that?
That was me, Madam Chair.
And that is Mr. Bergdorf?
Yes.
Okay.
I asked this question before as well. A lot of it has to do with how many election districts there are in each municipality. For example, Colony, I think, has 62 election districts. Is that correct, Rachel?
61.
61. How many does
Yeah.
the city of Albany have?
Like
120 something. Yeah, I forgot.
So there are more inspectors to pay. There's more
Yes.
machines. There's more moving of
Correct.
machines, etc.
These figures are not decided arbitrarily. There's a basic formula where we charge per number of election districts, per number of poll sites, per number of inspectors.
128.
Yeah, 128.
Yeah, that, I guess my question is, why does Albany, for example, have twice as many election spots when the population is only 14% more? It seems to me it would be close election spots per capita.
Well, these are questions that have to be taken under consideration during the redistricting period. It's a very, very valid question, but it's done in conjunction with local officials and leaders, and it's based also on census blocks as well. So sometimes, like in the city of Albany, you have these awkward census blocks that prevent us from cutting through them in creation of election district. So you'll have an election district at times with that are paper districts. They literally have no voters in them, okay? Or you have sometimes election district that can only have 13 voters, and some that have far more. And it's really determined by where you can cut the lines. Don't forget that in the city of Albany, we also have ward lines that we can't cut through. So there are different levels of factors that come into consideration in drawing election districts. And those are some of them.
Well, I would just think if it's more per capita one place than another, then it's, easier to vote in that municipality versus another. So I think it should be roughly equal election places versus per capita. So that's something to look at the redistricting for sure.
There is, but you do have to consider that in Albany, we have wards that have to be taken into consideration, which are political units that don't exist in towns.
Multiple assembly districts.
Yeah.
With the convergence of the assembly district lines and the county ledge lines and the ward lines. It's a much more complicated scenario.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Matt and Rachel. We appreciate your report. All right, if there are no other questions,
Hey, Wanda, it's Andrew.
Who?
It's Andrew.
Oh, hi, Chairman. Yes.
I want to make a note, not budget related. Rachel, I want to thank you for protecting yourself, your employees, and members of the public by wearing that mask. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Peter.
if there's no further comments or questions, I'd like to make a motion.
I have my hand raised.
Mr. Ward and Ms. Lakakis have their hands raised.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had a quick question. You had mentioned that the bills for 2020 would be sent to the municipalities shortly. They aren't going to be sent in the same budget year, are they? Because that would.
I don't know. It's a good question, but they're not coming shortly. In other words, we have to first send this to the county ledge for certification, but we're not even at the point yet where we have inspectors who have even signed their claim forms for payment. So this is what complicates it. According to law, you're technically supposed to have this done by December 15th, but that's just not a reality because we have inspectors who go well into the new year who submit for payment for election day.
Okay.
And as you can imagine, when you have more than 1,200 inspectors seeking payment, a large majority of them just don't get it done in time, as much as we try to get them to do it.
So it looks like 2021 for the 2020 expenses.
Correct. So they're not going to see this until 2021.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Ms. Lakakis. She needs to unmute herself.
I'm unmuting myself.
Okay.
My question was kind of along the same lines of why we do this in the fourth quarter of the following year and wondered if there was any way of moving it forward. But if that's the reason, it's because of people and the law, then I guess that's the reason. But it just seems like it would be better to do it like maybe in the third quarter or the second quarter rather than pushing it into the next year almost. But gotcha.
Well, you have to consider the full election cycle and all the bills that come due after the general election. So I think that's what complicates this matter.
Yeah. Thank you.
Madam Chairwoman,
I have yes, Mr. Bergdorf.
I actually have a question for Dave Riley.
Excuse me?
I actually have a question for our Director of Management and Budget, Dave Riley.
Mr. Riley?
I'm here, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you.
Dave, if we send these bills out now, have all of the 2018 bills been paid? Is there
Yes,
anyone
all
in arrears?
the 2018s were paid by all municipalities.
Okay, so they were paid in 2020?
No, they were paid in the probably early fourth quarter of 2019.
So municipalities will not have had any budget expenditures submitted to them during the calendar year 2020?
These bills will be sent to them in 2020. These bills, so the Board of Elections actually sent these to us back in July when they sent them to you. And we sent the amounts out to the towns and all municipalities. And I believe virtually all municipalities have actually already paid these. Because it's just a normal part of doing
All right.
business.
So,
They get one bill a year.
okay. So these bills already went out. It's what we're doing is a pro forma certification.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Miss McLean Lane.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I truly appreciate you recognizing me, even though I'm not on Audit and Finance Committee. So at our budget hearings, there was confirmation, which I have from employee confirmation that printing of nominating ballot petitions have been done there for candidates. Are those being charged back to municipalities?
No, you can't charge back not printing and nominating petitions.
Mm-hmm. So the county's paying for that?
Well, we're not talking about a heavy volume of petitions.
It doesn't matter the volume of petitions.
We're talking about like a piece of paper.
I understand what we're talking about.
Right.
But I also do know that there were petitions printed on a printer where somebody else's laptop is plugged in, a more than one piece of paper was printed out and then taken off premises. Who's paying for that?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. If there are no other questions, Matt?
I had a motion on the floor, Madam Chairwoman.
I'll second it.
Okay, I'll have a second from Mr. O'Brien. So I have a motion from Mr. Peter and a second from Mr. O'Brien. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Thank you very much. All right, we will now move on to item number 2 for tonight. And that, number three. And it's adoption of the Albany County budget for fiscal year 2021. And somebody needs to be muted. Thank you very much. Okay, and
Madam Chair.
so now I will recognize Mr. Peter.
I'd like to make a motion that we group all of those that we're passing without change into one motion.
Okay, and so.
I second that.
And that was a second from Mr. O'Brien. So the motion is to take, so I want to go back so everybody knows what we're taking, okay, in this motion. And that would be to take the Department of the County Executive, pass without change, Audit and Control, pass without change, County Clerk and Hall of Records, pass without change, Sheriff Department, pass without change, Probation Department, pass without change, Public Defender, pass without change, Alternate Public Defender, pass without change, Law, pass without change. That would also be the Nursing Home, pass without change, Health, pass without change, Crime Victims, pass without change, Veterans Bureau, pass without change, Human Resources and Civil Service passed without change. And Water Purification passed without change. Public Works passed without change. General Services passed without change. And Recreation passed without change. Civic Center passed without change. Soil and Water Conservation passed without change. And I believe that those are the departments where there were no changes. And so the motion would be on that to put all of them together and to vote all at one time on those. So I got a motion from Mr. Peter. I got a second from Mr. O'Brien on the motion to put them all together. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. So it's unanimous on the motion to pass, the motion to put them all together. So now I have to take a motion to,
Motion, Madam Chair?
yes, I'm sorry, I got a, okay, let me go back to my screen. So I got a motion from Mr. Peter and I got a second from
Mr. O'Brien.
Mr. O'Brien. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, so now what we'll do is we're going to move to, let me go back to my screen here, to the departments that had changes. So we'll start with the District Attorney's Office. I'll need an individual motion on that.
Motion, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I've got a question.
Oh,
Yes, hold on one moment. I'm trying to see both of these at the same time, okay? How can I do that? There you go. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, are these changes that have been made since we passed the changes last time? Or these are just changes, additions and deletions?
Our porch.
The beginning of the process?
Oh, okay. Get this.
Here.
Did
Let's see.
everyone hear my question?
Yes.
Yes, we did. Okay, yeah, yes, these were changes since the last time.
Since when we approved the additions, deletions?
No,
these have been-
no, we approved these additions from the last
Okay.
time. The
So,
other
in
ones,
other words-
there were no changes at all.
Okay,
Okay.
that
So-
was my question then, yeah.
Mhm.
Madam Chair. So Madam Chair?
Mr. Bergdorf.
Okay, so these are basically the numbers that went to public hearing.
Yes,
Okay, with the exception of some things that are highlighted in yellow?
that's correct. That is absolutely correct. And that is what is on page 15.
Right, okay, all right, just so we all understand.
Okay. But now I have to take these departments one at a time, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I did get, let me get back in here. So I did get a motion. Oh, I can't see both. That's my problem. And
Madam Chair,
maintain.
Madam
I
Chair,
got
you
a
had-
motion.
oh, sorry.
I got a motion from Mr. Peter and I got a second from Mr. O'Brien on the District Attorney's Office. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. So now we're going to move down to, and again, I can't see you. So the next one is management and budget.
I'd like to make a motion, Madam Chair. It's Matthew Peter.
Thank you. Motion from Mr. Peter, and I got a second from Mr. O'Brien. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed with unanimously. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Bergdorf, yes.
I'm having trouble. I was trying to follow from page 1 to page 2.
Okay, so now,
On page 1, there was district attorney.
yes, that's correct.
And
And
on page 2, there was the very top line,
management and budget. Which was-
distribution municipalities.
That's management and budget. And it's on page 1. It's at the very bottom of page 1 underneath law, you will see the department.
Oh, okay, all right, I'm sorry.
Yes, yes, okay.
I went directly to page 2. Thank you for the
All right.
clarification.
All right, thank you. Now, the next one we have here is social services.
Motion, Madam Chair.
I got a motion from Mr. Peter.
Second.
I got a second from Mr. O'Brien. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. And so the next one is mental health.
Motion, Madam Chair.
I had a motion from Mr. Peter. I got a second. Got a second from Mr. O'Brien. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, now I went from mental health to aging.
Motion, Madam Chair.
Got a motion from Mr. Peter. I got a second from, I got a second from Ms. Lakakis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. So now we are moving on to mental health, let's see, aging. And now we're at Children, Youth, and Family Services.
Motion, Madam Chair.
Motion from Mr. Peters. Second from Mr. O'Brien. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Somebody needs to mute their, okay, thank you. Next one we have is the Board of Elections.
I'd like to make a
Madam Chair.
motion.
Oh,
Okay,
got it.
say that one more time. Who was that?
I was
Okay.
Lakakis, like to make
Okay, I got a motion from Ms. Lakakis. I got a second from
Matt Peter.
Matt Peters. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, unanimous. All right, now I am on to Economic Development, Conservation, and Planning.
Go
Motion,
ahead,
Madam.
Matt. I'll
All right,
second.
All right, did I get a motion from Matt?
Yes.
I got a second from Ms. Lakakis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you very much. Opposed, I'm sorry, opposed? Unanimous, okay, now we're gonna move on to, let's see, and we are at, that's the coroners. Thank you very much.
Motion, Madam Chair.
I got a motion from Mr. Peter, I know his voice. I got a second from Mr. O'Brien, he has a hand up. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, unanimous. So if somebody needs to mute, can we mute whoever that is? Okay, so let's see the coroners. Okay, now we're down to Cornell Cooperative Extension.
I'll make a motion.
I got a motion from Lynn Lakakis.
Second.
I got a second from Matt Peter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. I now have storm water.
Motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I got a motion from Mr. Peter. I got a second from Mr. O'Brien. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, unanimous. All right, now my next one here is the legislature.
Motion, Madam Chair.
All right, I got a motion from Mr. Peter. I got a second from, I'm not hearing that screen. Who is that?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Clay.
From Mr. Clay? I got a second from Mr. Okay, second from Mr. Clay.
Madam Chair.
Okay, Mr. Grimm, you have a question, okay.
Yeah, these are in yellow, so the yellow ones have changed since our original.
The yellow has changed. Just
Like,
what's,
someone explain why these changes have been made.
okay, let me get back over here. Do that, and whoops. And who's going to speak on that? Ms. Kennedy, who's going to speak on that? Brandon?
Mr. Clay could speak on that, or the chair's office, whoever would prefer.
Okay. I'm trying to get back to the screen. Okay,
Hey, it's Mike Morris. I can go if you want.
go ahead, Ms. Morris.
Those are 2 salary adjustments for staff. And it's essentially a foregoing an increase in a raise and that'll be an increase in those two other lines.
Mike, why weren't these in the original addition and deletions for the legislature?
It was missed in the first go round.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Peter,
and just correct me if I'm wrong, these are budget neutral, correct, Mike?
Budget
absolutely.
neutral merit raises, yep.
Oh,
Okay,
actually,
thank you.
no, one's a 2,300 decrease and the others are, oh, they're equal. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Want to move it?
I'd like to make,
Motion to
I
move.
made a motion, Madam Chair.
Let me see, I'm trying to see, who was that?
I believe it was myself, Mr. Peter, and I think Mr. Clay seconded.
Yes, he
Okay.
did.
Okay, okay, Mr. Peters' motion, I got a second from Mr. Clay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Unanimous on that one, and now, let me see. And then I have the contingent account.
Motion, Madam Chair.
I got a motion from Mr. Peter.
Second.
I got a second from Mr. O'Brien. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. And now I'm at the revenue.
Motion, Madam Chair.
No. Wait a minute, hold on. I just want to make sure I'm right here. Yes, I am. I'm on the revenue. Can I get a motion?
Motion, Madam Chair.
Second.
I got a motion from Mr. Peter. I got a second from Mr. O'Brien. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yes. Okay, unanimous. Thank you very much. All right, so now we are on to the fourth item on our agenda for this evening. Let me just go back up here for a moment. And that fourth item is, okay, appropriation of amounts contained in the 2021 Albany County budget. And who's going to speak with that?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion, but in that motion, I'd also like to congratulate you on this budget process and a well-done job and interacting with both staff and all of the other members. But with that, I'd like to make a motion to move this.
I
Okay.
second all that.
I got a motion from Mr. Peter. I have a second from Mr. O'Brien. And I will now take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, passed unanimously. I want to thank everybody for a job well done, especially the whole committee. Everyone worked really very hard. I want to thank everybody from all of the different departments and the executive's office for really a job well done, great collaborative effort. And I just want to thank the chairman for leading us down this path right here to make sure that everything was done and that, at this time, the times that we are in right now, a lot of other municipalities were not able to do what we have done, especially without change in, increase in taxes and so forth. And we're not dependent upon and waiting it for anything from the federal government, which I think that's a plus too. And that everyone should be proud of for all the work that's been done on this. So I just want to thank everybody. Do you have anything you want to say, Chairman Joyce?
Great job, Wanda. And a great job, by everybody, on this committee, on the staff, all pitching in, working together, going in the same direction. A lot of unexpected, issues that we had to deal with the pandemic and everything along these lines, but wonderful work by yourself and Mr. Ford and the members of this committee to craft a budget that we can all be proud of moving forward into 2021, focusing on revenue creating and job creating initiatives and addressing a lot of issues in the county going forward. It's creative, it's innovative, incredible work. I couldn't be prouder. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So now, before I entertain a motion to adjourn, this is for our December 7th meeting on this coming Monday. And then the next time we meet again will be on December 21st, and we'll be voting on the tax levy. All right.
Yep.
I just would like to thank everyone again. And so can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I got a motion from Mr. Clay. I got a second from everybody. Okay.